willingness to go in, his aggression in team fights. I think if G2 are going to stand a chance in this series, they need to find a way to shut down that AD carry.
And I would agree, and I would +1 you. Also add in Kellin, because
very true.
I think Kellin has a pretty big advantage over Labrov in the current meta. I mean, Kellin, when you mention Diable, you have to mention Kellin right with him, because he's the one keeping him safe and flashing to go put his life in danger to save Diable and do everything he can with all the enchanters. So one of the enchanters is off the board already, but of course in the beginning of Fearless, it's really hard to go after all of them. You know, Seraphine and Lulu, the primary ones. Okay, you can go after a couple
of them are off.
Smart. So this is smart. You take away the Seraphine so they can't use it later for the rest of the series as well, and sets you up with multiple avenues to go for. We've seen people pair the Seraphine with other, AD carries besides Ashe as well, if they decide to, break up the combo and steal that away.
That is the standard, though, and Hansama on Ashe has had some really good performances. His ability to stay back in team fights and see where he can actually go in for the battle is pretty solid. BFX, though, immediately going to say, okay, we will take the Vi. I'm going to let myself get away with that one, BFX. I know it's BNK FEARX. I'll let myself get away with one. But yeah,
I mean, you can say the tri-code sometimes. I feel like, come on, that's got to be legal. That's got to be legal.
FEARX for the rest of the day.
Okay, so Vi, you're always thinking Ahri and Taliyah type things. Taliyah's dropped a little bit in priority since previous, but still, any sort of kill, AP mid lane could pair with it. Technically flexible on Neeko, but most probably down to support.
Yeah, Neeko gives you so much presence in team fights with that Pop Blossom and the ability to find those surprise ganks. We still see people undercounting minion waves and getting caught out by that shape splitter.
And I always like, going for super hard engage. You see a Seraphine, so you get Vi and Neeko immediately, and look to go, full engage on these squishies. Okay, so no surprises so far. Straight down the line, the classic Ashe pairing with the Seraphine, so you can get the slows, you can prep for the extra synergy there, and then Xin just for a good dueling into Vi. You have advantages over Vi in 1v1 early on in the game, so you can force a lot of like early dragon fights or early scuttle fights and skirmish angles for yourself.
Also, the Crescent Guard giving you a lot of control in team fights. If you do go in and there's a Pop Blossom on your back line, you can be on that front line with the Crescent Guard, not taking too much damage, allowing yourself a little bit more safety. Ahri is the lock for BNK FEARX. No real surprises there. It was VicLa's most played this year alongside a couple of others as well, if I recall correctly. I think that Taliyah is up there, but the Ahri does just make a lot of sense when you're teaming it up with things that already have good pick potential, and you have to follow up with the Charm and then the Spirit Rush to run through the back of a fight.
Yep, as we said, all of the most likely pairings here. So in the first game, getting a lot of them off the board. Interesting, we do get the Annie that has become more and more popular because it is quite good into the RA4 lane, or should be. We saw in the LCS that it actually got turned around to do some individual play, but that's why they're still banning it against Caps, even though Caps obviously in the Annie game that he played
did not have the best
was rendered less effective than normal, but it's still because of the matchup taking it away and what they're showing.
Yeah, Silas and the Annie banned away by BNK FEARX, and then there's the Kai'Sa and the Ezreal taken away by G2. Trying to get rid of things like Diable, very comfortable on the Ezreal. He's already got a pentakill on it this tournament. And then the Kai'Sa, the ability to dive onto that backline following up a Caesar assist is just so strong.
Yeah, it's just the perfect AD carry to go with a dive comp like this. So pretty good band so far. But one of the favorite things to watch is Diable on this Yunara. It's a little bit less exciting when you don't have the Lulu, but still very, very, very powerful. And they have so much like forward-facing CC, so much engage that, they can set them up that way.
Yeah, the issue for G2 now is how do we get onto Diable before he really ramps up in a team fight? Before Transcend oneself has the Arc of Judgment, huge amount of damage going across with that Cultivation of Spirit. If they can find picks on him, sure, maybe they can take him out at the start of the fight, but it is going to be very difficult when you have a Neeko and a Vi there to protect him. G2 looking for a blind pick top laner will just go towards BrokenBlade's Cassante. No real surprises there. Hasn't had the best of tournaments, Cassante. I think 1-4 so far here at first stat.
Yeah, still a really good blind pick though, and when you're running Ashe Seraphine, you just want some more frontline up there. So Pretty safe pick there. Meanwhile, the LeBlanc into the Ahri. All right, let's see. We're putting it right to the test at the very beginning. We'll see if Vedius is right about his caps versus VicLa propaganda that he is trying to spread, because the LeBlanc into Ahri definitely is going to be fun with the setup there. It's pre-6, it's going to be more advantage to G2 because they have the Xin matchup in jungle versus Vi. But post-6, Vi and Ahri can really blast them back. So this one's going to be quite exciting how they navigate the early game.
I think a lot of people as well, if you've only started watching League esports in the last few years, you won't really think of Caps as LeBlanc as this huge power pick. But this is his second most played all time with a 70% win rate. He is incredibly comfortable on this pick. And if he can manage to find some pressure in the early game, his ability to get onto that backline, to get onto Diable and have that assassination potential is actually really high.
And one of my favorite things to do when I have a LeBlanc mid lane, you know, pre-6 again is really a lot of advantages for LeBlanc and Xin. If your Xin if you can manage to go unwarded in the early stages, like sweeper for your Raptor camp and make sure they don't have vision on it. When you do one quadrant, do 3 camps and pass through mid lane, LeBlanc can always, you know, go for the setup there. And it doesn't cost you a lot of time, so you can kind of pass through, and then hopefully you can get some big advantages super early on for your mid lane. And then if you do get a successful gank, you know, getting the flash and a big chunk of HP, even if you don't get the kill, then your LeBlanc can make sure that you don't get invaded afterwards, even though you showed crossing through mid lane. Hopefully you've gotten your early, you know, mid lane advantage, and that can help with the mid jungle. But yeah, big magnifying glass on mid jungle for this one.
Very much agree with you. Let's get into game 1 of the day here between BNK FEARX and G2. A do-or-die scenario as Caps is spotted out walking around the corner here. Diable and Raptor on the chase. Caps will jump across straight into Diable. Should be able to escape the clutches of the AD carry, but it's going to take over half his health for doing so. Gets the passive out as well. Huge for BNK.
It's super smart from them too, because they know there's going to be so much pivoting on mid jungle that they have the level 1 to prep for it. Kellin might pay the price though.
Big root onto Kellin with the high note. He has to use the heal. Diable's trying to get across here, but Labrov and Hansama will see if they can keep him at bay. Caps chunked out, electrocute on either side here. Trading in the mid lane already.
Yeah, so super smart level 1 defense here from BNK, having Diable over there, but Kellin
has to flash. Hans flashes forward, but Kellin flashes just in time. Hans and Labrov winning out the 2v2 on the bot side because Diable was here so late. He's going to trade back in, and Hans now has no flash.
Oh, man. Did you see that, too? Ashe had the arrow notched in the bow.
She was ready, and Senna is ready on patch 26.6 as well. You can check out Warhound Senna's Diable. Has to use the cleanse immediately. A portion of those skins proceeds will be shared across all the LoL Esports teams. So if you want to support your team, grab that Warhound Senna.
Wow, really, really good punishment from Hansama and Labrov in this. You know, they see Diable punishing Caps in the level 1, and they just take advantage. It's still 0 CS. Okay, he got 1. Diable got one down there.
He'll get caught out again.
Oh my goodness.
It's really good trading from the G2 bot lane. Diable and Kellin paying for that early game. You can see the move here into mid. Level 3 from SkewMond as he goes for VicLa, lands the knock up. See a Vault Breaker coming out from Raptor as well. He'll be able to get away. VicLa escapes without burning a summoner, but SkewMond might look for the invade. Raptor able to secure his Raptors before SkewMond can really get there.
Medic, that's the exact 3-camp cross through mid we're talking about, and SkewMond continues it.
Wind becomes lightning. Audacious charge already used. Raptor forced away. Bot lane push still there for G2, which means SkewMond thinks he's safe enough to push in and take this red. You can see Caps coming across for the red steal as well. Diable having to flash away, down to 100 HP. As G2 currently putting the pressure down onto BNK.
They certainly are doing that. Summoner spells are all gone from the BNK bottom lane here, and Diable with 7 CS is going to have to walk home. How much do you think you can get from the 10-cent store here with his 7?
Boots, man.
All right, he got his brown bag boots.
Yeah, get a bit of leather, put it on your toes as SkewMond did steal away the red. Labrov here, looking for Kellin. Didn't quite get the slow from the volley out of Hansama, which means the follow-up with the beat drop not enough. SkewMond's coming across. Kellin has no flash. Wind becomes lightning. Q3 knock-up. Hansama there for the chase. And this time the arrow finds its mark. G2 get first blood.
G2 punishment on bottom lane. This is brutal. The Ashe and Seraphine, so much poke, so much CC from them. Interesting Raptor, very dangerous move, buddy. He's been scouted with the Scryers too. Guess what? Caps can drop his cannon wave and come over here.
He'll get the cannon, drop the rest of the wave. The chase continues as Caps chains don't connect, meaning that Raptor does escape through the jungle, but didn't manage to steal away too much.
Whew. Yeah,
what a start to this game, man.
Very, very dangerous. Yeah, exciting start, and I love it actually from both sides where, you know, G2 trying to attack towards this bottom lane, really punish the BFX attempts on Caps, and they burned Caps' passive, but look at the mid lane. He's been completely fine because of it. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, they did get the first blood, and it went into Hans Sama's pockets there, so he's got the fully upgraded boots. You know, it's like Diable is over here on some old thrift store boots, and Hans Sama's got some brand new sneakers.
He's got the Jordans, you know.
He's got the extra attack speed, which goes a long way for Ashe here, because of the slow that you can provide with a Seraphine on your side too. Backing it up is this. There's so much threat with that extra movement he's invested in.
Interesting pathing as well from SkewMond. Didn't actually do his blue on his first rotation because he saw that Raptor was moving up towards topside. Wants to match where Raptor is on the map as much as possible. So clears out his topside to match Raptor. Now will reset, get himself that tunneler, and then work his way down towards the bottom side of the map.
And it's also a good ward from, you know, FEARX here. They, well, it actually expires now.
The one that was on the blue, though.
Yeah, exactly. Expires now, but they're going to be able to assume that he is over there re-clearing now. And so both junglers should have a pretty good idea. Meanwhile, Raptor is, you know, further along his journey towards his level 6, this big point for the Ahri that we are mentioning. And as long as he can smoothly clear and finish up, try and get to his level 6, then they can try and look for their punish. But at the moment, because of the bot pressure, it really means SkewMond is full confidence starting up this dragon. They've got also full vision of Raptor here, so
Caps can stay a little bit safer knowing that Raptor's around. SkewMond's sticking on the Drake for now. The chains, Raptor has to use the Vault Breaker to get away, and as you say, a free enough dragon as Caps jumps forward. VicLa looking for the damage here with the charm and the electrocute. Caps having to dash back. Doesn't have the Mimic right now, 5 seconds before he has that extra spell cast, but still G2 will be able to take the Drake, and then SkewMond can work his way back towards his blue buff and his wolves.
Yeah, bot lane supremacy, free dragon, and the Seraphine even getting to roam up through the river as well. The investment in wards here with the multiple control wards as well as trinket wards from G2 on this the river between bottom and mid lane, the highway here. Really helping out the possible gank avenues. Raptor once again though wants to slip in and try and take something away, but there's an annoying Ashe on the enemy team, so they're gonna see that you've done this at the very least.
That's the thing, right? You can't really contest it. Your jungler's on the bottom side of the map. Your mid laner was pushed under tower. Your top laner was really struggling into the Gnar matchup. We haven't really talked about it too much, but Clear has built himself up a sizable advantage just in that 1v1, and almost still at 22 CS ahead and about 600 gold as well.
Yeah, but it does mean as long as you have the information, then you can just go, okay, fine, I'm going to get the bottom Scuttle Crab, and I'm going to get to my level 6 here for SkewMond off that dragon, off of bot Scuttle Crab, and the rest of his camps here able to get to his level 6 just fine. So, man, it is just always so nice to have the Ashe Seraphine lane with big advantages because you have lane priority, you get the Hawk Shot as well, and now you've got access to the Ashe Arrow, the initiation here. So they're going to have to be very wary of the next G2 play.
BNK will have to be a bit cautious around it, but their solo laners are having a really good whale of a time right now. 400 gold lead in mid for VicLa over Caps, keeps him low. Enchanted Arrow will land onto VicLa. The wave cleared out there, the chains. Oh, they have to be careful! Oh, Caps and Hans Summer teaming up for a beautiful play in mid.
I'm going to say 10 out of 10. That was a literal 10 out of 10 play. Can you please clip that thing? That was the cleanest I've ever seen. And the best part, the cherry on top that bumps it up to a perfect 10 is Caps walking away from the death at the end. Look at this. Full channel on that Ashe Arrow, so it's so far away. The stun is there. Caps changes him and he walks away off screen, leaves the tower to finish.
Nice call, Caps.
Nice call, Caps.
Caps calling for it.
So, I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to the Ashe. Like, Caps called for it, but Hansama hit it.
The French sniper has to find his mark, right? Gets the kill as the wave cleared out by Caps in response. Grubs taken for G2. Gold lead still only about 500. Next Drake 2.5 minutes away, but a strong early start from G2 generally.
And Medic, when I said you got to be aware of the Ashe arrow engaged, it's kind of hard when it's coming through the jungle wall
nice
like
charm
that.
onto Captain. He dashes away. SkewMond and Raptor going to trade down towards the bottom side of this fight. VicLa with the Spirit Rush looking for more, as Raptor did have to burn his flash to get away. G2's bot lane was collapsing. Because of that, Raptor didn't want to stay in the area. Yeah,
and that's the advantage again, all this vision for G2 through this river. They're keeping that river lit up so they can always respond to these plays, get there in time. Labrov doing a very good job of transferring this bottom lane advantage that they do have with the roams up there. So Dragon advantage and the 3 Grubs advantage for G2, but the gold is still very close. Biggest difference, of course, is the Ashe advantage here with the kill for Hansama versus the top lane CS advantage.
Whoa! VicLa with these charms, though, continues to land. Caps has to flash away. VicLa in the 1v1 is getting on top of Caps relatively often.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the Ashe arrow, then he would have
huge lead.
Be dominating. Yeah, but the Ashe arrow on Sama there kind of equalized it for him. Besides that, VicLa had been doing quite well.
Yep. The battle between these junglers is something that has really started off this game well. SkewMond and Raptor fighting for pressure, not only around the camps, but around these neutral objectives, the Grubs, the Drake. We have that next Drake coming up in a minute, and both of these junglers are so important to the initial portions of the game for their team. They set their team up really well for success. I think for BFX, BNK, when you look at it, it's Diable that you really look at as the carry later on, but it's Raptor who gets him to that point.
Yeah. Definitely agree, and for G2, it's been really fun to watch the evolution of SkewMond as VicLa here with some more dodging versus Caps as the 3 members of G2 had converged around. If that does hit, then they definitely pounce on VicLa, but nice little W activation and dodge to the side. VicLa will be fine, as Vedius has deemed him our LCS representative in this match.
He's doing well for an LCS mid laner.
Technically, I would say, hey, Vedius, Hansama also played in the LCS. So, like,
as did BrokenBlade.
Are you going to give us credit for Hansama? Because I think I'm going to take that credit.
I'll be honest, if G2 win, you can have credit for the man. I'm 100% on board with that.
I'm taking it because Hansama won mid lane for Caps with the Ashe arrow, or at least equalized it for him. Didn't even actually get him ahead with it. And they're crushing bottom lane. So I think LCS is doing great in this game. Medic?
I agree with you, Kobe. I agree. BNK using a little bit of time to get control around this bot side river. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow doesn't connect onto Raptor as he is able to dash away. Second Drake, the target for both these teams. Diable a little bit isolated here. As the chase comes in, he does have cleanse and flash. Volley doesn't connect. No slows yet. Beat drop as well.
Nice walking.
Well walked away. Yep. Man, the devil on his shoulders like, go back in, go back in. No. Diable able just to walk away safely. Fault breaker out from Raptor isn't going to find anyone, just trying to keep G2 away as Diable clears away this ward.
Okay, here we go. The moment of truth. Vi ult is ready. Clear just got his Trinity Force. Clear is teleporting in with Trinity Force ready. And a big shield.
A third sack on the Mega Gnar bar. Caps trying to go in. Beat drop on court. Follow up as they dive onto VicLa, who does have the flash and manages to get away. BrokenBlade trying to get onto the back line as Raptor falls low. All out on him. He's down. Hansama trading with Clear, who's keeping the rest of G2 away from the fight. But the smite comes out and G2 win out on the battle, get a kill and get the Drake.
Yeah, they're just more coordinated. They destroy them. Burst damage is there. BrokenBlade and Caps going to be able to push mid lane afterwards as well. And even the knockback here. But yeah, they just delete them. They push VicLa out of the fight with the combo there, even though they don't actually get the kill onto VicLa. But they completely push him out of the fight, and they're able to run right into the dragon and delete Raptor. Take a look at this. And the minimap is critical, because the minimap shows that Diable and Kellin so far away down there on the bottom side that G2's coordination, everybody here, 5 people strong, completely blasts the team fight. And even though they had Clear teleport in first, it's the bottom lane that is desynced for BNK.
Yeah, Clear was doing his job. He kept 3 people from G2 away from the fight, got towards the Mega Gnar, wasn't able to do as much as he'd like, but because of G2's coordination on the initial kill on Raptor, they could just go in, steal away the Drake, and then walk up towards that one remaining member on the top side. G2 now with a 1.4k gold lead, 13 minutes in.
kind of a head scratcher there, honestly, from FEARX, as top lane advantage didn't mean anything, even with the earlier teleport, because the rest of the team's just not there. We'll see about the next one, though. 1,000 gold lead for Hans Sama. He's got his extra move speed with the Storm Razor, so very, very mobile here with the extra move speed and the safety of the Seraphine. Seraphine team fighting could go huge. BFX or BNK, certainly though, they still have their potential for assassinating targets and big dive.
BrokenBlade stopping clears reset here. Does still have the flash. We'll have to use it to get away from VicLa's charm. VicLa using a good timing there to move up from mid and make sure that BrokenBlade had to use his summoner spell. Clear with a sizable chunk of change as his advantage in top lane.
Meanwhile, see what Caps is able to do with his double buffs. Always so fun here on LeBlanc, being able to use that to harass even more frequently. Raptor,
he spotted on a ward.
definitely, they know, and there's nothing you can do here. Like, it's mini Gnar, and G2 have the extra power, so they can just brute force this tower down. G2 gonna keep it rolling here. First tower bonus.
The extra gold out of that. Coinbase gold grind for Hans Sama. 1.4k ahead, which is not something I think any of us thought would be the case coming into this series. Diable is so often the key carry for this BFX team.
Yeah, and to have this completely turned around. Remember how this game started with them having Diable up towards mid lane and trying to chunk out Caps and being so worried about the mid jungle that bottom lane for G2 was able to punish Kellin a lot, kind of isolated, and then once Diable joined too, since Kellin was so low and had burned so many summer spells, then they keep that punishment going, and G2 really snowballed that so effectively after like reacting to a level 1 that now it sets them up here with 1,000 gold lead, 2 dragon lead, and looking at Rift Herald.
VicLa off towards the top side of the Herald pit. Diable and Raptor are there. And Chardacris out, flashed away by Raptor. Pop blossom doesn't land onto anyone but BrokenBlade. Meanwhile, SkewMond on the backline's going to pop that Crescent Guard. Season Desist going on to Caps as well, who flashes away himself. Encore onto Diable. He dashes away with the cleanse as well to escape the fray, but Raptor doesn't have that same luxury. He'll die to SkewMond. G2 still looking for the advance, but they can't get close enough to catch out BNK.
Woo, Caps lives. That is so close to death there. He squeaks away with the distortion into the back of the pit. And everything is really coming up G2. I mean, yeah, Raptor did get the Rift Herald, but going down, they're also going to lose out on the rest of their map pressure here. So very nice extra pickup for G2.
VicLa able to run away in time with the Foxfire. Doesn't have flash, so there was a little risk of BrokenBlade going in, Pathmaker, all outing him back towards SkewMond.
Yeah.
But VicLa smart enough to avoid any of G2's clutches. So you say the Rift Herald did go over to BNK, so they might be able to crack through this tower with 30 seconds left on the Drake as well. Kellin stepping a bit too far forward, caught out by the beat drop. There's the chains as well! And Kellin taken out on this Neeko. Hasn't had the best of times on this pick across the tournament. He played it in game 1 against BLG as well and really struggled.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous path there to take, my friend. And a good punish once again. The G2 bottom lane just smacking Kellin. All right, well, this is going to pose problems for the mid game because you've got a LeBlanc level 11. You know, this is where you get your rank 2 ultimate, obviously, and your power spike really coincides with your first item, your upgraded Sork shoes, and your extra 4 stacks on your Darksteel. So you get a lot of room to work with on this poke champion.
This is Soul Point as well for G2. Ocean Soul, a possibility for them. There's the Rift Herald put down by Raptor. Try and get the charge in the mid lane. Try and get Cryo for BNK to step in. But this Drake is already gone. Clear looking for a flank position. G2 can walk away before BNK can really react. The Rift Herald charge will come in, but it doesn't even take down the tower. Enchantress out, dodged away by Raptor. VicLa going in with the Spirit Rush, but dashing out with it as well. In the end, G2 will get the Drake, will kill off the Herald, and won't lose too much for it.
Yeah, feeling pretty strong here. I mean, Hansama's on his 2 items, got his PD finished as well. And
there goes Mega. Diable. Oh, it's Kellin actually who was caught out. He was cosplaying as Diable there for a second. The Shape Splitter blocking the chains. Diable now is trying to get across. It looks like BNK are playing for that bot lane tier 1. Maybe even for a fight as G2 could look to defend it.
Raptor's cooking here. He wants to be able to burst somebody, you know, Vi ultimate with Diable close, but Let's see if they can actually find one. Okay,
Caps.
control ward.
Caps the target, dashes away. Raptor goes in with the cease and desist onto Labrov, but the encore's going to land as well.
Nice.
Labrov might just be sacrificed here. BNK with a great pick, finding Labrov in the river.
But look what it cost them, you know, since they have everybody down here, that's going to be top, just getting demolished. BrokenBlade is up there, getting multiple tower plates. VicLa, of course, is able to finish up the bottom tower to kind of answer there. But so much also dropped here on the top side of the map that G2's gold lead is still about 1,000. And the biggest thing, Medic, 3.5 minutes.
Yeah,
very early soul.
As you say, before that Ocean Soul comes up. The lead for Clear as well, still 1.5k. He's been having a really good time on this Gnar, but BrokenBlade, he is just a tank. He's going to scale up into the game, doesn't need as much gold as someone like Clear, who is going to face check here. Pathmaker in, Wind becomes Lightning as well. Clear looking for the Gnar, will land a stun, but the Q3 is going to be procced by SkewMond as they continue to chase in. All out pulls Clear away from the wall. He's going to flash. Hansama caught out as Caps jumps in the way of the charm. Hansama taken down though. VicLa secures the kill. Caps looking for Kellin, can't land the second chains. Meanwhile, on the top side, Clear was able to escape with the help of Raptor.
Wow, we got the revenge right there. Kellin and Diable able to burst him down. VicLa here still looking for more as well. They're going to get a tower. And just like that, BNK, they retake the gold lead. They wipe that G2 gold lead off of the map. And now we're 240 away from the Dragon, so you can start doing your early setup here.
Yeah, huge swing for BNK. I'd love to see how this was set up. Again, it's a pick in the jungle. They're playing around this red buff. Labrov caught out initially, and Kellin just finds a great engage onto Hansama.
Yeah, revenge of Kellin. And it just timed so well, too. As soon as Caps came in, you know, he's just going for the Ashe here, and they're able to snag both of them. G2 starting to get a little bit nervous now. You know, they had so much confidence with how well this early game has gone, and the Dragons stacking. So much power of the Dragons, though, is all in the last one, the final one for the Dragon Soul. So we'll see about that next fight. And look at that. That's not like a graphic, you know, ending early. Yep. That actually just went back to 0. Yep. That's
50-50 between the two teams now. You either win or you lose, and Diable sitting at 2 items. Kraken Slayer and Fiend Hunter bolts completed for him. This guy having an absolute stormer of a first stand, 2 pentakills so far.
Yeah.
Now, basically even on itemization with Hansama. Hansama does have an extra BF sword, but in terms of completed items, they're basically...
That's a big sword.
Yeah.
Right there. Meanwhile, VicLa, as Vedius in the analyst desk, has decided that he is our LCS rep. I'll happily take it. The Ahri looking pretty good with some burst damage now. He actually went for the Lichbane burst damage, so we'll weave in those autos. And it all comes down to this next Dragon fight, Medic, and who's going to be able to get some early positioning, because there are really big pick opportunities. Wait a second. Mid lane here, there is an Ashe arrow ready to fire, so have to be a little bit careful.
Diable does still have the cleanse and the flash. It would obviously be good for G2 to get those summoners out before the fight begins, but do you want to be using the arrow and then not have it up for the battle? SkewMond's going to try and take away the Scuttle Crab, but Raptor's here. SkewMond healing up with the Thunder Sky. TP is coming in as BNK want to take the fight. SkewMond diving forward, takes the kill on the enemy jungler, uses the Crescent Guard to mitigate some of the damage, and then will flash away. VicLa flashing in, gets the charm onto Labrov. Pop Blossom as well, but it's only going to land onto the sport. Labrov is down, BrokenBlade trading clear down towards the bottom side. VicLa trying to come towards the back line as well, but Hansama takes him out. Diable now in the midst of them, the Gnar against the wall. Diable trying to get out of vision in the bush, but it's warded. Caps jumps across, Clear goes down. Diable trying to escape. G2 don't want to let him, but they might just have to. Caps will have the distortion. G2 will give up the ghost on Diable, but will turn their eyes towards the soul.
Oh, Hansama was gliding on them at the end there, putting that big sword to work, Medic. And look at this, the jungle fight, the jungle ego battle right by the crab. SkewMond says, fine, you want to go on me? I will delete you. My friends over the wall here, Hansama and Labrov, were able to help him out. Labrov does get hit with the charm because it was an attempted follow-up at SkewMond. You know, VicLa was trying to go for him, but they only deleted the Seraphine, and so that opened up the rest of the fight. Caps and Hansama here, the carries still free-firing him. They chase them down, everybody except for Diable. And that is going to be Dragon fight number 2. Here we go. Start it again.
And Crystal are about to come off cooldown. Diable with no flash. Hans has his and his barrier. BrokenBlade on that front line. Clear trying to build up the Mega Gnar. Raptor in the back of the pit. Caps just waiting. Seeing if he can find a way in. Raptor starting up the Drake. Clear, keeping BrokenBlade at bay. Caps dives onto Raptor, who tries to get onto Hunsummer. There's a cease and desist Crescent Guard to stop VicLa from getting the Spirit Rush in. That Crescent Guard was gorgeous. Hunsummer's still alive as well. They'll take down two. Kellin kept at bay by BrokenBlade and put in the dirt. G2 take 3 for naught and will claim the soul.
They keep Hunsummer safe and they claim the soul. They can walk over to Baron's side of the map now too with the Ocean Soul regeneration here, Medic.
It's the Mastercard priceless moment of the game for G2. Can it buy them a Nexus? As you say, they'll walk across towards the Baron. Still 15 seconds on Raptor. VicLa with no TP is coming up in 10. G2 will try and get all the buffs they can for now. And then we'll see if they can break the backs of BNK.
Yeah, I think that might just do it, Medic. They get the soul, they're gonna get the Baron. Let's take a look at this. As we're, well, it's gonna be a little difficult to do, but you can tell in the slideshow, they're going for Hansama, Vi ultimate, and they tried to do the Ahri follow-up. But Ahri got knocked aside, as you called out, and they were unable to finish on Sama. He still had his flash, still had his barrier to be able to survive there and used it very effectively. So G2, now they're in a very commanding position here in game number 1.
But what BNK have shown us is they are willing to set up these bush breaks, these picks, getting to the enemy jungle, sneak behind enemy lines and find these picks. And if they can continue to do that, they will delay G2 on this push. It's only the first Baron of the game. They have 2.5 minutes left with it, but they still have so many structures to get through if they're going to get towards those inhibs.
They certainly do. Let's see if they can tend to the side lane as well. Currently, VicLa pushing on top side, trying to get one lane going for BNK. Meanwhile, the rest of G2 can link up here. 4-1 split push for them. They keep Caps mid to deal with the BNK onslaught. And with Baron buff, I mean, they're just going to delete this tower, so...
No TPs as well on BNK because they were using those previous Dragon fights. So if VicLa does continue to push, there's the option for G2 to try and just force in towards the inhib. It looks like that's what they're going to do.
At the very least, VicLa probably has his empowered recall up right now. And should be able to get back quicker. So we see Vi channeling recall early.
Yeah, VicLa's still there on the tier 2 and top side. The plate will be taken by G2 on this inhib tower. VicLa will go and get that enhanced recall. G2 still knocking on the doors of these inhibitor towers while Caps pushes in mid. Flank position from Kellin, but that is just the shape splitter clone. While this is happening, Caps continues to chip away at that mid tier 1. That will go as well. G2 extending the gold lead, 1.6k so far off this Red Bull Baron power play.
Okay. BNK actually mitigating the gold loss from those double big objectives quite well. Here we go.
Cease and desist onto Caps. VicLa there with a chase as well, but Caps dodges away and dodges the charm. Can he escape the clutches of BFX? The answer for now is yes. Pop Blossom doesn't get there. Caps with the Ocean Soul heals up enough. And while this is happening, G2 are knocking on the inhibitors. They'll take the bot lane inhib. And even with BFX looking for the play in mid, G2 still come out on top.
Cap says, now you see me, now you don't. Vi ult, Ahri ult, Neeko ult as well, and he still lives.
And now G2 will look to push in mid. No cease and desist, no Spirit Rush, no Pop Blossom as you say. This tower not long for the rift, you have to feel. And just as we praise BNK for being able to mitigate some of the Baron power play, it has ballooned up to 3,000. Could be more as well, because there's another inhibitor tower in G2 sights. Caps trying to jump in. Trade with VicLa, but there's the tower going down, and G2 still have 10 seconds left on the Baron. The inhibitor now their target. They'll take that too. Caps dashes in. Look at Diable's health. Almost just one shot by Caps there. The Rabadon's Luden's enough for him. But now, with the Baron expiring, we see the resets come out. Charm, Pathmaker used to avoid it. Kellin's not going to go for any more. And a 5k gold lead for G2.
Yeah, 2 inhibs down as well, makes it really easy. They can just go for their reset, push out on this top lane, use the super minion extra pressure down the other 2 lanes, and close in towards the game 1 Nexus. The real difficult thing for BNK here, can they actually pull off a surprise play? Because I think the attempt mid is the correct type of thing. When you're behind like this, you got to do that. And you have to full send and hope that it is just successful next time. Because if you just wait and you kind of huddle up in your base, guess what? The super minions are going to build up. The rest of G2 are just going to siege you, and you will just lose. So you got to take risks. You know, go camp on a brush and try and burst somebody down one lane.
You have a 3-item AD carry as well. He is a full item behind Hansama, but if it's Caps or SkewMond or Labrov, he's going to melt through them pretty quickly. If he's there at the moment, he is on cleanup duty in the mid lane, trying to make sure those super minions don't get too close to the base. BNK have done a good job of getting both the side lanes pushed in before the next objective, which is Elder Drake in 1 minute's time.
Hansama's only died one time against a team that has Vi, Neeko, Ahri, and Gnar all looking for his head.
These LCS players are just blinding at the moment as we see Raptor looking for the flank. Kellin going in with a pop blossom, and Hansama is caught, and just as you're praising, he dies immediately. SkewMond will trade onto Kellin. Crescent Guard doing a lot of work here. He's going to heal up as well with the Ocean Soul. Above is taken out. SkewMond trading with Raptor. Caps and BrokenBlade diving up to the back line. Raptor still surviving for now, but SkewMond's still on the way. Stopwatch out of Caps to try and survive, and he dodges the Orb of Deception from VicLa. VicLa out. BrokenBlade will put him in the ground, and now Raptor and Clear, even though you took 4k gold out of G2's pockets at the start of the fight, you still can't win it out. Raptor dashing across the wall, going back in with the Vault Breaker, but look at the Ocean Soul! You just can't heal them! They're lapping up your health and taking you out. G2 win out the fight, and with 20 seconds left on Diable, possibly can take the game.
Yep, sorry about that one, Hans. That's my bad. Don't even count that death for him. That's a cast of curse right there. G2, they're going to get the Elder Dragon off the back of it. They still win the fight, even with the investment. But BNK, you know, props for the fearless engage here. They actually had such a good little flank. You saw at the beginning, Vi coming from the other side, the wraparound. Then they have Kellin going past this brush by red buff up to get the engage. And they do delete Hansama this time around. Unfortunately for them, they're so far behind that G2 can still win the game with all the
Ocean Soul, man.
Exactly.
It was entirely the Ocean Soul.
And the extra gold, it really helps.
Yeah, sure, but you saw how low so many members of G2 went, and now with the Elder, they will turn their attention towards the Baron. BNK not really able to contest this. You can't fight into an Elder, especially when you are 7,000 gold behind, but still, BNK show the resiliency that took them to the second spot in the LCK. They show the determination to not give up on the game. And for G2, you're not sweating, but there's a little bit of perspiration perhaps coming out after these last couple of fights. It's the first Elder of first stand secured for G2. The blue, I believe, was taken by Clear, but now with super minions pushing in bot and mid for the next 30 seconds for bot and 1 minute for mid, G2 will just push through this top side.
All right, first Elder at first stands, and hopefully we're gonna get more than 3 games as well, because this was a really fun one, Medic. I think it's about to end, but you know, there's always that little tiny ray of hope for BNK. Can they pull off a miracle here against Elder Dragon, plus Dragon Soul, plus Baron buff?
It would be miraculous if they can do it, but I don't put anything past this BNK lineup. The inhibitor will be taken out by G2. Raptor trying to keep the mid wave at bay. G2 pushing in for those Nexus towers. BrokenBlade is going to deal with Raptor. First Nexus tower will be raised to the ground. Kellin looking for his engage. There's the Pop Blossom, gets it onto Hansama, but dies for it. Hansama so low, Crescent Guard coming out, but once again, you just don't have the damage. A Quadra for Hans to round it up as G2 take game 1.
Yo, I do like that trick at the end though. Kellin doing the recall thing to make you think he's doing the clone, the clone recall. Right at the end though is the key part of it, because it's the end for game number 1. G2